stand back. I'm gonna kick my butt.
Among the uncommonly good franchise hits of DreamWorks Animation, the Kung Fu Panda movies remain vastly underrated. But as this series' fourth entry arrives in theaters, we should know better than to underestimate Kung Fu Panda, both the movies and the character they're named for.
You sound surprised. Is it surprising?
Like the combination of heart, determination, and fluffy bulk that make Jack Black's Po an unlikely martial arts master, these movies continue to show it's possible to combine genuine emotion and meticulous action scenes with goofy humor and stylized animation to make a string of kids' movies that keeps improving with each installment. That's just as true with Kung Fu Panda 4, yet Po's latest quest also suggests it may be time for the character to pass the torch. At least that's the setup this time around, as Po's mentor Master Shifu tells him a new Dragon Warrior must take Po's place so that he can move on to a higher spiritual calling. His friends, the Furious Five, sadly sit this one out, but the formula here remains recognizable. Po sets off on a mission to defeat a terrifying villain accompanied by a companion who routinely sells him short, and he just might learn something new about being a martial arts master along the way. The role of the skeptical ally is filled in a shifty fox thief named Jin. Their opponent is the Chameleon, a Viola Davis voiced Empress of Disguise who's bent on acquiring kung fu expertise through magic and trickery.
I'm the Chameleon. I do nothing but change.
Jin is meant to blur the lines between good and bad. For Po, things are either one or the other. By the end, of course, all of the good guys are on the same side. The moral blurring only lasts for so long. The Chameleon presents a unique type of Kung Fu Panda adversary. A thief herself, she plans on stealing the fighting know-how that made Po's past opponents so threatening. A small in stature, she has the power to disguise herself as anything and anyone, taking on the likeness and size of other more intimidating warriors. The jagged motion of her scaly shape-shifting is one of the more creative animation effects, and Davis's spine-chilling voice acting is genuinely scary.
At last, my destiny approaches.
As the other addition to the cast, Awkwafina feels at home in Kung Fu Panda 4. Jin is obviously meant to be a spiky foil to Po, and her character is animated with a fluid quickness that allows her to zip through the faster-paced scenes. They make a good team eventually, though the established relationships between Po and the Furious Five are missed. As in previous Kung Fu Pandas, there's a wealth of exaggerated physical comedy on display. So much of the humor is drawn from the imaginative and now familiar designs of the animals populating this world. Po's two dads, excitable Duck Ping and elderly panda Li Shaan, make a particularly hilarious pair. The fights are typically great, and though none match the ensemble sequences from the franchise's past, a brawl inside a teetering restaurant comes close. Director Mike Mitchell has a proven track record in animation, but the Trolls and Lego Movie 2 filmmaker is working in the Kung Fu Panda universe for the first time, and his take, along with that of co-director Stephanie Stein, seems like it's meant to lead the series in a new direction. Kung Fu Panda 3 felt like the conclusion to a trilogy, so this movie's preoccupation with succession and moving on is deliberate. Occasionally it works, and occasionally it feels a little bit like fan fiction, like the characters are just telling you what Kung Fu Panda 4 is about. Still, it never feels like it's trying too hard to reel you back in or convince you that this thing is just like that other thing you already like. And by the end, you're just as hungry for a big bowl of dumplings as you were the very first 3 times you met Po.
All I know are 2 things: kicking butt and taking names.
Kung Fu Panda 4 sees dumpling aficionado and Dragon Warrior Po take on a new challenge, deciding whether to pass the torch to a new martial arts master while dealing with the threat of the Chameleon, a shape-shifting sorceress bent on stealing Po's mastery of Kung Fu. Though some elements of the previous films are missing or altered, there are enough new additions and expertly choreographed fight scenes to make this another worthy entry into the series. For more movie reviews, check out what we thought of Dune Part 2 and Madam Web. And for everything else, stick with IGN.